I think we should focus on the Golden State Warriors and what this means for them for the rest of this season, because this stretch coming up is massive.
Yeah.
Even if you look before the Memphis game at home, they're home for eight games over the course of 2.5 weeks. They've got the Knicks coming up this week at New York. They've got Brooklyn coming up at Brooklyn, and then they go home for 8 games. And then at some point, I would assume they have a 5-game road trip right after that. At some point, I assume Steph, if all goes well, comes back during that stretch. So you're looking at 10 to 12 games without Steph coming up, and they're still in 11th place in the West.
Yeah. I have a question before we get to that. I have a question for you about Steph in particular. As a shooter with an injury like this, and obviously you don't know all the specifics about what's going on with him because you haven't necessarily talked to him about it or anything like that. What is this process like? Is this one of those injuries that you think, generally with shooters lingers the rest of the year? Is it something that you can sort of knock out in 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the severity of it?
Yeah, I mean, I have not had a labrum injury. I had a right shoulder injury that got diagnosed essentially as tendinosis, but it affected me. I had it in 16 after the season. I was throwing my kid. Knox was like 1.5 at the time. I was throwing him in the pool right after the season, and I couldn't shoot the basketball for 2 months, and I had to get PRP. So that was a different injury. But in terms of a labrum injury, yeah, there's like I don't know everything about the labrum. Here's what I do know. There's a bunch of little sockets. There's 8 sockets. And when you tear your labrum, you can tear it completely. You can tear 2 sockets. You can tear 3, whatever. So I don't know the severity of this labrum injury to Steph. I do know it's his left shoulder, though. And I do know he's a maniacal worker. I think it probably does affect him the rest of the season. To what degree? I don't know what that is. But him shooting a basketball, I would bet that he comes back whenever that is, and he can still shoot a basketball.
Here's my bright side question for you with the Warriors.
Yep.
We've talked a ton about the bench and how bad it's been, how great the starters have been, and how bad the bench has been. Is there any world now where, we saw this with Jordan Poole yesterday. Is there any world now where there's like an added level of confidence that some of these guys could potentially get by being, now it's sink or swim for them? It's like you almost can't rely on Steph to sort of do everything, and then they're coming in and kind of, being almost like haphazard about their, the way they're approaching the game. It's like if these guys don't produce, they're not making the playoffs, and this whole thing might blow up.
There is some positive in the sense that if they're going to win, if they're going to go deep in the playoffs, they're going to have Steph playing at Steph Curry all-world level. The non-Steph Curry minutes, yes, if they can be net neutral or net positive in those minutes as we get deeper into the season, then they have a real chance to get back to the finals and win a championship. I still don't. I'm not writing this team off. JaMychal Green showing major signs of life over the last couple weeks. He was great last night against the Raptors. Poole gives them something different. I've always said that. Poole, his ability to not Steph creates off the dribble like a motherfucker too, but outside of Steph, they don't have efficient scorers off the dribble. Jordan Poole can be an efficient scorer off the dribble, and I know he started off the season slow, but he's playing great now. He had 43 last night. The one guy, and some people noted this on Twitter during the game last night, and I got some stats as well this morning. But the one guy that I think this could be really interesting to see over the stretch is Draymond, because when he plays with Steph, he's really never looking for his shot. He's looking to be a ball mover, a body mover. You play off of him, he goes immediately into that DHO. He started out last night in the first quarter aggressive, taking shots. He took 15 shots last night. When was the last time? When was the last time Draymond took 15 shots in a game? So his willingness to shoot the basketball and look for his own offense, that's going to be a fascinating part of this next 3 to 4 weeks, or however long it is, for the Golden State Warriors. I want to say this, though. I think the storyline of this game is still very fascinating because it is the Grizzlies. You saw that video that NBA.com posted the other day of their pregame dance or whatever. Like, they're just a fun team to watch. And this was Golden State's a team that eliminated them last year in the playoffs. They're going to be extra amped, even without Steph, to play in this game. It's a big fucking deal, Tommy. It's a big fucking deal that the Memphis Grizzlies are playing on Christmas Day. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also I am excited to see what happens over these next several weeks with Steph out and how the Golden State Warriors respond. So I think there's still enough of a storyline here to make this game really interesting. The full episode of The Old Man and the Three Things is available exclusively on Amazon Music.